In a small, cozy attic room beneath the steep slate rooftops of Paris, the gentle glow of beeswax candles flickers across freshly swept wooden floorboards. Through the rippled window panes, the city glimmers with rain, silver threads tracing the glass as the storm softly patters against the eaves. A lace maker named Clest sits at her work table, the surface polished by years of gentle hands, her slender fingers dancing with delicate bobbins and skeins of fine linen thread. The air is perfumed with The room is wrapped in warmth, the walls adorned with hand-stitched samplers, tiny bouquets, curling ribbons, and the elegant script of favorite poetry. Clest's apron is of dove-grey linen, worn soft with careful laundering, its hem brushing her knees as she settles in her spindle-backed wooden chair. The storm outside is a gentle drum roll, the sound muffled by thick stone walls and centuries-old timbers. Along the mantelpiece, a posy of wild chamomile and thyme lends a green, earthy note. Near on her lap lies a piece of snow-white linen, taut between her fingers, its texture crisp yet yielding. The bobbins, turned from applewood and smoothed by years of use, click softly as she weaves them into intricate patterns. The lacework, a medley of loops and scalloped edges, begins to resemble the delicate tracery of frost on a window pane. Clest's mind drifts gently as she works, recalling the soft laughter of her mother, who taught her these time-honored techniques beneath the same attic ba. She pauses to gaze out the window, the candlelight reflected in her thoughtful eyes. Beyond, the rooftops glisten, puddles turning the cobbles into little mirrors. In the courtyard below, rainwater pools around the roots of a young chestnut tree, its leaves trembling in the wind. A cat curls on a dry patch of stone, shaking droplets from its whiskers before tucking its nose beneath its paw. Inside, Clest's breath mingles with the soft hush of the storm, the atmosphere thick with the promise of S. In the gentle flicker of candlelight, the lace shimmers like spun sugar. The pattern is a garland of small wildflowers, cornflowers, violets, and tiny dog roses, each petal formed by patient fingers. Clest's hands are deft and sure, her movements rhythmic and meditative. The bobbins emit a faint, wooden music as they twist and cross. Nearby, the edge of an old recipe book peeks out from beneath a velvet cushion, its pages, yellowed and soft, filled with neat ink lines and flower-stained corners. A gentle draft flutters the lace curtains, edged with handmade scallops. The room smells faintly of starch and beeswax, comforting and clean. Clest's feet, clad in woolen stockings, rest on a woven rug, its faded pattern reminiscent of meadows and cloudless skies. She hums a lullaby, a tune her grandmother favored, the melody winding softly through the room. The border of her apron is embroidered with tiny pink silk roses, their color vivid even in the low light. Time here moves slowly, me. The lacework grows, loop by loop, into a filigree so fine that it seems to float above her hands. Clest's thoughts drift to the friends who share her love of gentle crafts, the herbalist with her baskets of drying petals, the weaver with indigo-stained fingertips, the baker whose laughter warms every market morning. She remembers the laughter in the courtyard during harvest festivals, the sharing of warm bread and sweet cider, and the feeling of belonging. The room is filled with echoes of Kindon. A low shelf holds a row of old French novels and botanical books, their spines softened with use. Clest runs a finger along the titles, pausing at her favorite, a volume of Madame de Sfine's letters, filled with wit and affection. She draws it closer, allowing the candlelight to pool upon the page, the ink flowing like a gentle river. Outside, the storm continues, its music a lullaby for the world. Within this haven, she reads a passage aloud, her voice barely above a whisper, savoring the whir. A little bell rings from below, the sound of her young neighbor, Lucille, arriving with a basket of fresh brioche. Clest smiles and opens the door, letting in a waft of cool, rain-scented air. Lucille's cheeks are rosy with laughter and the briskness of her walk. The basket, lined with a blue-checked cloth, exudes the warm, yeasty fragrance of bread and the delicate sweetness of sugared almonds. They exchange a quiet embrace, and Lucille perches by the hearth, shaking raindrops from her cloak. Clest pours tea from a small porcelain pot, the floral pattern faded but beloved. The tea is rosemary and rosehip, plucked from the garden in late summer and dried in hanging bunches above the kitchen window. Steam rises, curling into the lamplight, and together they break the brioche, its golden crust giving way to a soft, pale crumb. The rain intensifies, drumming a steady rhythm on the roof, but inside, the world is hushed and safe. Conversation drifts like the scent of baking, gentle and UN. The candlelight wavers and reflects off the surface of the old wooden table, where crumbs of brioche gather in golden heaps. Clest listens to Lucille's stories of market stalls heaped with apples and pears, the laughter of flower sellers echoing through narrow Parisian streets. Every detail sparkles with life: the scent of fresh figs, the touch of velvet ribbons, the gentle weight of linen shopping bags. Outside, the rain soothes the city, blurring the harshness of stone with its gentle silver. Lucille unlaces her boots and sets them near the hearth, where a small fire crackles, its flames reflected in the brass fender. The warmth is comforting, the air tinged with the smokiness of burning cherry wood. They sip their tea in companionable silence, broken only by the occasional trill of laughter or the soft clink of porcelain. Clest's cat, Minette, slinks from her hiding place beneath the settle and winds herself around Lucille's ankles, purring deeply. The world beyond the window fades. A skein of pale blue silk rests in Clest's sewing basket, its sheen luminous in the candlelight. She offers it to Lucille, who marvels at its fineness, running the thread through her fingers like a rivulet of water. The two women reminisce about childhood afternoons spent learning stitches beside mothers and aunts, their laughter rising like birdsong above the rooftops. The room is alive with memory, each story a tapestry threaded with joy and gentle longing. Outside, the storm is a soft, persists. By the window, the rainy street below glows with lantern light, the reflections shimmering in puddles. The air inside is scented with orange peel and cinnamon sticks, a pot of mulled wine simmering gently on the hob. Clest retrieves an embroidery hoop, its fabric stretched taut, and begins to teach Lucille a new stitch: the feathered chain, delicate as a leaf spine. Lucille's brow furrows in concentration, but her hands are steady, guided by Clest's gentle encouragement. The two women lean close. Clest's shelves are lined with jars and boxes, each labeled in careful script: dried lavender, lemon balm, rose petals, and rosemary. She invites Lucille to select a blend for a sachet, and together they fill a small muslin pouch with fragrant herbs. The scent is calming, a gentle swirl of meadow and sunshine. Lucille tucks the sachet into her pocket, her face bright with gratitude. The two friends share a moment of stillness, breathing in the calm, their thoughts like drifting autumn leaves. Clest prepares a little honeyed milk, warming it slowly over the fire. The milk is creamy and thick, infused with chamomile and a touch of nutmeg. She pours it into small porcelain cups, their rims painted with forget-me-nots. The warmth of the drink seeps into their hands and their hearts. Lucille sighs contentedly, her eyes growing heavy. Clest covers her with a crocheted shawl, the wool soft and fragrant with lavender, and Lucille nestles into the cushions near the hearth, her breathing soothed. A gentle breeze stirs the delicate paper flowers on the mantelpiece, their pale petals glowing softly in the candlelight. Clest returns to her lace, the rhythm of her hands unbroken. Each movement is a meditation, the world narrowing to the slow, patient dance of bobbin and thread. The room is silent but for the sibilant whisper of rain and the soft crackle of the fire. Shadows lengthen, pooling in the corners and under the table, while the light above is golden and serene. Within this quiet, She glances at the clock, its hands moving slowly, the tick-tock blending with the rhythm of the rain. This is the hour for reflection, for quiet gratitude. Clest thinks of her mother's hands, deft and gentle, and of her father's laughter, echoing from a distant room. She recalls evenings spent in the garden, the scent of lilac and fresh earth, the soft touch of mossy stone under her feet. The world outside her window may be wild and stormy, but here, under the beams and among the candles, all is. A small letter rests atop a stack of pressed linens, its wax seal still intact. Clest picks it up and, with careful fingers, breaks the seal. The paper is thin and smooth, the handwriting familiar and beloved. It is from her friend Elise, who now lives in the countryside. The letter speaks of orchard blossoms, of cheese and apples, of long walks by the river and the laughter of children at play. Clest smiles, her heart warmed by the closeness of friendship that endures across distance and time. Outside, the storm has ebbed to a soft drizzle, the rain now a gentle patter on the slate tiles. Clest closes her eyes for a moment, letting the night's tranquility soak into her bones. She listens to the breath of her friend asleep by the hearth, to the faint purr of Minette, to the slow creak of old beams settling above. The room is a sanctuary, every corner filled with softness, the folded shawl, the quilted cushions, the stacks of old books waiting to be read. It is a place for gentle heart. A lull settles in the room, deep and restful. The candle's flame leans, casting long, soft shadows upon the walls, illuminating the gentle curve of the lace-maker's cheek and the tumble of brown hair escaping her kerchief. The old clock ticks with patient regularity, marking the passing moments as the city below sinks deeper into night. Clest leans back, her hands resting in her lap, and lets her gaze wander over the familiar objects of her life, the willow basket of unfinished lace, the blue jug. She rises and moves to the window, pressing her palm to the cool glass. Below, lanterns flicker in the hands of late-night strollers, their umbrellas bobbing like dark petals on the rain-glossed pavement. Clest draws the heavy curtains, embroidered with twisting vines, and returns to her chair. She wraps herself in a thick woolen shawl, the fibers soft and comforting against her skin. The room is filled with the familiar sense of home, fresh bread, beeswax, the distant tang of rain. With each Clest picks up her lace pillow, the surface covered in pins and tiny patterns drawn in sepia ink. She studies the design, a series of intertwining leaves and blossoms inspired by the garden in spring. Her fingers move with practiced ease, separating and crossing the bobbins, the thread whispering with promise. Each loop and knot is a quiet act of hope, a testament to the patience and artistry of hands that find beauty in the ordinary. The candle glimmers, lighting her work with a gentle radiance. She pauses to admire a small sampler stitched in pastel silks, a gift from her younger sister, Margot, who lives across the river. The sampler reads, Jour après jour, la douceur tisse la vie day by day, gentleness weaves life. Clest traces the letters, the embroidery fine as the veins of a leaf. She remembers her sister's laughter, the way it filled the kitchen as they baked spice cakes in autumn, and her gentle encouragement on days when the world seemed heavy. Even separated by the city, there. On the table, a small bowl of ripe cherries gleams in the candlelight, their color deep as garnets. Clest selects one, biting into its sweet flesh, the juice staining her lips and fingertips. The taste is summer distilled, a memory of sun-warmed orchards and laughter beneath the trees. She savors each bite, letting the fruit's sweetness dissolve slowly. The simple pleasure of fresh cherries on a stormy night is a reminder of abundance, of the small, everyday joys that fill even the quietest home. She sets aside the cherry pits, arranging them in a small dish, and returns to her lace. The pattern now curls into tiny florets, the thread shining silver in the candle's glow. The bobbins move with a steady rhythm, their quiet clack a counterpoint to the gentle rain. Clest's thoughts are soft, her worries distant. She listens to the sound of Lucille's breathing, slow and even, and lets herself be lulled by the peace that fills the attic. Outside, the storm is a cradle, rocking the city to sleep. A gentle knock comes at the door. The baker's apprentice, Pierre, bringing a loaf of fresh rye bread, still warm from the oven. She thanks him with a smile, exchanging kind words in the soft, musical cadence of the Parisian night. The bread, wrapped in linen, exudes the aroma of toasted grains and aniseed. As Pierre disappears into the rain, Cleste slices the loaf, the crust crackling under her knife. She spreads a little butter, its creaminess melting into the bread, and takes a slow, thoughtful. She lights a second candle, the new flame joining its twin in a gentle dance. The room grows brighter, the shadows retreating to the corners. On the mantel, a carved wooden bird catches the light, its wings outstretched in silent flight. Cleste dusts its feathers with a soft cloth, recalling her father's tales of summer swallows returning to nest. Such small tokens carry memory, the echo of laughter, the gentle hush of song. The storm outside is little more than a whisper now, and inside, the whir. Cleste opens a small wooden box, inside which are buttons of mother of pearl and ivory, some carved in the shapes of roses, stars, and tiny moons. She sifts through them, the surface is cool and smooth beneath her fingertips. Each button has a story, sewn onto dresses for baptisms and weddings, coat cuffs mended by lamplight, or tiny slippers for a cousin's newborn. She selects a moon-shaped button and sets it aside for a future project, smiling at the memory of her aunt's gentle scolding for hoarding. She stands and moves to the bookshelf, selecting a well-thumbed volume of fairy tales. The cover is faded, the binding repaired with scraps of brocade. She settles by the fire, the candlelight pooling over the pages, and reads aloud stories of clever maidens, enchanted frogs, and gardens that bloom at midnight. Lucille stirs in her sleep, her lips curving into a smile, and Minette stretches, her paws kneading the rug. The stories wind through the room like threads of gold, weaving a tapestry of. A lull descends, as if the whole world pauses, exhaling softly into the night. Cleste's voice grows quieter, the words a gentle murmur. The fire sinks to glowing embers, the storm a memory in the distant rumble of thunder. The stories drift into silence, replaced by the steady tick of the clock and the slow, even breath of contentment. Shadows move gently across the walls, the candlelight painting ever-changing patterns. This is the hour when dreams gather, slow and silent, as the city sleeps Ben. Cleste folds a length of finished lace and places it atop a pile destined for the cloth merchant. She ties it gently with a blue ribbon, the fabric soft as a sigh. The merchant will trade her work for bolts of muslin, skeins of silk, and perhaps a casket of tea or a bar of fine soap. Each exchange is an act of trust, a connection woven into the fabric of daily life. The lace, a piece of her patience and skill, will adorn the cuffs of a dress or the edge of a handkerchief, carrying a whisper of H. The clock strikes the half-hour, its chime mellow and comforting. Cleste listens, letting the sound settle into her bones. She pours herself another cup of tea, the liquid now cool but fragrant. The taste is gentle, floral and slightly tart, a reminder of summer gardens and afternoons beneath the lime trees. She closes her eyes, letting the warmth of the shawl wrap around her, and listens to the soft chorus of rain, fire, and breath. The world outside is a gentle blur, and within, all is slowen. She dreams, half awake, of a walled garden behind her childhood home, roses heavy with dew, vines climbing the stone walls, bees humming in the lavender. The memory is vivid, the roughness of stone against her palms, the sweet tang of gooseberries, the cool green shade where she once hid with a favorite book. She smiles, lost in reverie, the line between past and present blurred by the gentle hush of night. The attic room is quiet, the candlelight steady, and her heart is full of gratitude for. A soft rap at the window startles her gently, just a branch, blown loose by the storm, tapping at the glass. She rises and secures it, breathing in the moist, earthy scent of rain-soaked air. The city is quiet, the only sounds the distant call of an owl and the soft sigh of wind through the gutters. Clest draws her shawl tighter and returns to her chair, her senses alive to the comfort of warmth and shelter. Outside, the world is wild and unwelcome. Inside, it is a sanctuary, the storm a lullaby. She inspects her thread basket, plucking out a skein of fine linen dyed with walnut shells, its color a deep, rich brown. The thread is smooth and strong, perfect for a sturdy bit of lace edging. Clest winds it carefully onto a bobbin, admiring the play of shadow and light upon the twisted fibers. She recalls how her grandfather, a dyer by trade, would soak the threads for days in great wooden vats, the scent of walnut and smoke lingering in the air. Every thread she works with carries a piece. A gentle thud from the hearth signals that Minette has found a warm spot among the cushions. The cat stretches, her fur glowing russet in the candlelight. Clest strokes her head, feeling the soft, luxurious warmth, and listens to the slow, steady purr. The sound is soothing, a living metronome that marks the rhythm of contentment. She thinks of all the women in her circle who, like her, find solace in the company of gentle creatures and the quiet work of hands. The world narrows to the simple J. She turns to a stack of letters tied with faded blue ribbon, correspondence from cousins in Normandy, from childhood friends who have married and moved to the countryside, from traveling merchants who send news of distant cities. Each letter is read and reread, the words cherished for their affection and the window they open onto other lives. On this rainy night, Clest selects one and reads it aloud, the gentle cadence of her voice mingling with the hum of rain. The stories of gardens, childer. A small pot of honey sits on the table, golden and thick. Clest drizzles a spoonful over a slice of rye bread, the sweetness soaking into the warm crumb. She savors the taste, the honey redolent of clover and wild thyme. Each bite is a comfort, a reminder of late summer days when the air buzzed with bees and the fields glowed with flowers. She closes her eyes, letting the flavor linger, and gives thanks for abundance, for gentle routines, and for the peace that comes with nightfall. The candle burns low, its wick curling into a tiny black spiral. Clest trims it carefully, collecting the spent wax in a small dish to remelt for future tapers. The ritual is soothing, the scent of beeswax both earthy and sweet. She reflects on how each candle has been shaped by hand, rolled and poured with patience, every inch a testament to care. The attic glows with the soft, honeyed light, and the storm outside is now a mere whisper. In this quiet lull, she breathes deeply, her thoughts slow. Outside, the rain has softened to a fine mist, the rooftops shining with reflected light. Clest steps onto the small balcony, the stone cold and slick beneath her slippers. She leans against the railing, breathing in the scent of wet earth and distant lilac. The city is hushed, the only motion the wavering lanterns and the occasional flutter of a bird's wing. She closes her eyes, feeling the cool air upon her face, and lets the quiet seep into her bones. The night is gentle, the world vast and peaceful. She returns to the warmth of her room, closing the balcony door behind her. The fire has burned low, its embers glowing softly in the hearth. Clest stirs the coals, adding a small log of applewood. The flames leap up, releasing a sweet, smoky scent. She arranges the cushions nearby, the fabric cool and soft against her fingers, and settles in to read by the firelight. The pages of her book flutter in the breeze, their edges worn and loved. The words flow gently, stories of gardens and gentlefolk. As the hour grows late, Clest sets aside her book, marking her place with a pressed violet. She gazes around the room, every object familiar and beloved, a porcelain vase filled with dried lavender, a small wooden tray bearing a half-eaten apple, the lace sampler pinned above the mantel. The air is filled with a hush, the kind that settles before sleep. She draws a quilt over her knees, the patchwork squares stitched by many hands, her mother's, her aunt's, her own. Each piece tells a story, ever. She listens to the distant sound of church bells, ringing softly over the rooftops, their chime muffled by rain. The sound is familiar, a nightly benediction. Clest bows her head, offering a silent prayer for all she loves, for friends near and far, for her mother's gentle guidance, for the cat curled at her feet. The world feels small and wondrous, a circle of light in the dark. She rests her hands on her lap, still and calm, and lets the peace of the moment settle over her like a soft shawl. A piece of unfinished lace lies on the table, its edges curling like sea foam. Clest studies the pattern, imagining it finished, adorning the hem of a christening gown or the border of a bride's veil. Each loop and twist is a testament to patience, to the slow unfolding of beauty over days and weeks. She smooths the cloth, feeling the fine, almost translucent linen beneath her fingertips. The candlelight glows through the fabric, illuminating the intricate geometry of the design. She smiles, Con. She remembers a story her grandmother once told, of a lace maker who wove wishes into every piece she created. Clest wonders what wishes have found their way into her own work, perhaps for happiness, for health, for love that endures. She whispers a blessing over her lace, trusting that the kindness woven into each stitch will reach those who wear it. The storm has faded, leaving the air washed clean and full of promise. The heart of Paris beats quietly, the city cradled in the gentle hands of. A soft mewing draws her attention. Minette desires a treat. Clest obliges, offering a morsel of chicken saved from supper. The cat's gratitude is expressed in a rumbling purr, her eyes closing in contentment. Clest strokes her gently, the fur warm and silken beneath her palm. She reflects on the comfort found in caring for another, the simple grace of tending to small needs. The room glows, lit by candle and kindness, and the night stretches out like a bolt of silk, smooth and unbroken. She turns to her work table, where a new pattern awaits. Drawing inspiration from the garden, she sketches winding vines and curling leaves, the pencil marks pale against the creamy paper. The process is meditative, her mind wandering as she imagines the finished lace, its edges delicate as the petals of a rose. She hums quietly, lost in the rhythm of creation, the world shrinking to the circle of lamplight and the soft brush of graphite on paper. The storm has passed, leaving only the gentle dree. A knock at the door startles her from her reverie. A neighbor, Madame Du Bois, seeking a spool of thread to mend her husband's shirt. Clest welcomes her in, the two women sharing a cup of tea as they exchange news and laughter. Madame Du Bois brings a basket of pears, their skins mottled gold and green. They sit together by the fire, peeling the fruit and discussing the best methods for preserving them in honey and wine. The conversation is gentle, filled with reminiscence and good humor. The roe. The pears are sliced and simmered in a small copper pot, their fragrance blending with the lingering scent of spices and wood smoke. The women spoon the preserves into glass jars, sealing them with wax and linen. Each jar is labeled in Clest's careful script, a small gift of sweetness to brighten winter days. Madame Du Bois departs with a sachet of lavender and a promise to return soon. Clest tidies the kitchen, her movement slow and deliberate, each gesture a lullaby to the quiet night. The Ra. She returns to her chair, wrapping herself once more in her shawl. The fire is now a bed of coals, its warmth steady and comforting. The attic is filled with the soft ticking of the clock, the faint rustle of pages, and the gentle breathing of those at rest. Clest gazes at the moon through the window, its light silver and still. She closes her eyes, letting the peace of the night settle around her like a cloak. The world outside is silent, the city sleeping, the storm a memory. Within these walls, The room is filled with treasures: a pressed flower from last spring, a shell from a river walk, a ribbon saved from a childhood dress. Each object is a memory, a talisman against loneliness. Clest runs her fingers over the shell, feeling its cool, smooth surface, and remembers the laughter of friends, the cool splash of water, the taste of wild strawberries. These small joys sustain her, weaving a tapestry of gentle happiness. The night deepens, time slowing, every sound softened by the hushed tea. She collects her finished lace pieces, folding them into layers of tissue and setting them in a wooden chest. The chest is lined with sprigs of dried rosemary and rose petals, their perfume subtle and comforting. Each piece of lace is a labor of love, a fragment of beauty to be shared. Clest closes the lid gently, tracing the pattern carved on the surface: a garland of wildflowers, a reminder of the world outside her window. The attic is quiet, every corner filled with contentment, the promise. She prepares herself for bed, unpinning her hair and brushing it with slow, careful strokes. The bristles are soft, the movement soothing, each strand gleaming in the candlelight. She braids her hair loosely, tying it with a ribbon the color of storm clouds. The ritual is familiar, a daily act of care that signals the end of the day. She washes her face in cool rosewater, the scent delicate and pure, and slips into a nightdress of fine white linen, the fabric soft against her skin. Each gesture. She blows out the candles one by one, leaving only a single taper burning by the bed. The room is hushed, illuminated by the soft, golden glow. Clest draws back the covers, the sheets crisp and cool, and climbs into bed. She pulls the quilt over her shoulders, feeling the weight of the patchwork settle around her. The cat joins her, curling into a warm ball at her feet. The world beyond the window disappears, leaving only the quiet heart of her home, the soft rustle of linen, and the gentle ass. She closes her eyes, listening to the slow, even rhythm of her breath. Her thoughts drift to gardens in summer, to the taste of ripe fruit and the sound of bees. She imagines the feel of grass beneath her bare feet, the warmth of the sun on her face, the laughter of friends gathered beneath blossoming trees. The memories are soft, blurred at the edges, laced with the scent of lavender and honey. She lets them go, one by one, until all that remains is the gentle hush of night, the steady beat of. A lull settles, deep and serene. The attic is a sanctuary, the storm a distant memory. The single candle flickers, casting shadows that dance along the walls. Clest's breathing grows slower, her body sinking into the mattress, every muscle softened by rest. The quilt is warm, the linen cool and smooth. The cat purrs beside her, a living lullaby, and the city outside is silent. The world becomes smaller, quieter, until there is only the gentle rhythm of breath and the promise of dreams. She drifts in and out of sleep, her mind floating on the edge of dreams. In her half-waking state, she imagines herself walking through a field of wildflowers, the petals brushing her skirts, the air alive with birdsong. The sun is warm, the sky cloudless and blue. She feels a sense of freedom, of lightness, each step a gentle release. The world is soft and golden, every sound muffled by distance. She lets herself wander, carried on the current of sleep, her worries left behind. The candle burns lower still, its light soft and flickering. The shadows grow longer, the lines of the lacemaker's face gentled by rest. The city outside is hushed, the rain a memory. Inside, all is still, all is calm. Clest's thoughts grow slower, her breathing deeper. She floats on the edge of sleep, suspended between waking and dreaming, the night folding around her like a soft woolen blanket. The world narrows to the gentle glow of candlelight and the steady beat of her heart. A lull, deeper than before, settles over the attic. The fire is nothing but a faint glow, the embers pulsing softly in the darkness. The air is cool, sweet with the scent of lavender and beeswax. Clest drifts further into sleep, the weight of the quilt grounding her, the steady rhythm of her breath a quiet anchor. She dreams of gentle rain falling on a glass roof, the sound a lullaby, the world outside distant and blurred. The night is endless, the peace absolute, and she surrenders, wholly and. The single candle by the bed casts a small pool of light, its flame unwavering. Clest is almost asleep, the world slipping away in gentle waves. The city below is silent, the storm long gone, the streets glistening with the memory of rain. In the attic, every sound is muted, the soft tick of the clock, the faint purr of Minette, the slow, even rhythm of breath. The night is a safe cocoon, the darkness gentle, the promise of morning a distant hope. All is well, all is peace. She dreams of a river at dawn, mist curling above the water, the banks lined with reeds and wild roses. The air is cool and fresh, the world quiet and new. She follows the river's slow meander, her feet brushing dew-soaked grass, her heart light and unburdened. The water reflects the sky, pale blue and pink, the sun just beginning to rise. She feels a sense of belonging, of connection to all that is gentle and good. The dream is soft, slow, and safe, a lullaby of water and dawn. The candle flame trembles, casting shadows that flicker and fade. Clest's breathing is even, her body deeply relaxed. The attic is quiet, every creak and sigh of the old timbers softened by the hush of night. She dreams of a walled garden in spring, the air filled with the scent of lilac and wet earth. The flowers nod in the breeze, their colors vivid against the gray stone. She wanders the garden paths, her hand brushing the cool, rough walls, her heart full of quiet wonder. Each step is a med. A soft breeze stirs the lace curtains, carrying the faintest scent of rain. The city is utterly still, the sky above brightening with the promise of dawn. Clest stirs in her sleep, her face peaceful, her dreams gentle and untroubled. The candle burns low, its light a delicate halo. The cat sleeps on, undisturbed, her tail curled around her body. The attic is a world unto itself, a sanctuary of softness and light, where every moment is wrapped in comfort and care. She dreams now of a childhood room, sunlight streaming through the window, the floor strewn with scraps of fabric and bits of lace. Her mother sits by the table, sewing a dress, her hair pinned up, her face serene. Clest joins her, threading a needle, her small hand steady and sure. The two work in silence, the only sound the soft snip of scissors and the gentle murmur of approval. The memory is a lullaby, a reminder that love endures, that even the smallest acts of care are woven into the fab. Outside, the first birds begin to sing, their voices tentative and sweet. The city stirs, the promise of morning a gentle ripple on the edge of night. In the attic, the candle is nearly spent, its flame no more than a golden thread. Clest dreams of fields in summer, the air thick with the scent of hay and wild mint. She lies in the grass, the sky wide above her, her heart open to the world. The dream is slow, repetitive, each detail savored and cherished. She lets herself drift, carried on a sea. The attic is filled with the soft light of approaching dawn, the shadows pale and delicate. The lacemaker sleeps, her breath slow and deep, her dreams gentle. The cat purrs softly, a warm weight at her feet. The city outside is quiet, the storm a memory, the promise of a new day hovering on the horizon. The candle gutter, its light flickering, the room now dusky and serene. All is still, all is peace, the world narrowing to the quiet sanctuary of home and heart. Clest dreams of gentle hands, warm bread, the laughter of friends gathered around a table. The taste of honey and the scent of apples fill her senses. The light is soft, the air warm, the world safe. Each moment is slow, repetitive, the rhythm of memory lulling her deeper into sleep. The attic is a haven, the night a gentle embrace, every breath a promise of rest. She drifts, untethered, her worries dissolved, her heart at ease. The candle burns lower, its flame a faint glow. The room is filled with stillness, every object bathed in soft, golden light. Clest is deeply asleep, her face peaceful, her body relaxed. The cat sleeps on, her tail flicking in dreams. The world outside is silent, the city wrapped in the hush that follows rain. The attic is a sanctuary, a place where dreams are safe and gentle, where every moment is an invitation to rest and to heal. A lull, slow and deep, settles over the attic. The candle flickers once, twice, then steadies. The room is filled with the scent of lavender and beeswax, the air cool and clean. Clest's dreams are soft and slow, her mind adrift on a sea of gentle images, lacework unfurling beneath her hands, gardens in bloom, the laughter of loved ones. The night is endless, the peace complete, every breath a gentle lullaby. She drifts, further and further, her heart light, her spirit at rest. The city is silent, the rooftops gleaming in the first pale light of dawn. The attic is a sanctuary, every surface bathed in softness. The candle burns low, its flame a memory. Clest sleeps, her dreams gentle and repetitive, the weaving of bobbins, the taste of tea, the feel of linen against her skin. The world narrows to warmth and comfort, every moment a caress, every thought a whisper. The night is a slow river, carrying her deeper into rest. The candle gutter, its flame wavering. The attic is filled with shadows, the air cool and still. Clest dreams of quiet mornings, the first rays of sun creeping across the floor, the scent of fresh bread, the distant sound of church bells. Each detail is savored, each moment lingered over. She drifts, the rhythm of her breath slow and deep, the world reduced to softness and light. The city waits, hushed and gentle, the storm a memory, the dawn a promise. A gentle repetition fills her dreams, the sound of rain on slate, the feel of cool linen, the warmth of a cup between her hands. Each image returns, slow and soothing, a lullaby of memory and sensation. The candle is almost spent, its light a whisper. The cat stirs in sleep, the attic quiet and serene. The world outside is silent, the city wrapped in the gentle arms of night. Clest drifts, her thoughts slow and safe, her heart at rest. The candle gutter, the flame barely clinging to the wick. The room is filled with stillness, the only sound the slow, even breath of sleep. The air is cool, scented with lavender and beeswax, the light soft and golden. Clest is deeply asleep, her dreams a gentle spiral of memory and hope. The city outside is silent, the rooftops glistening with the last traces of rain. The attic is a haven, every moment an invitation to rest and to heal. A lull, deeper than before, settles over the attic. The candle flickers, its light a pale echo of day. The air is cool and clean, the scent of lavender lingering. Clest's dreams are slow, repetitive, the weaving of lace, the taste of honey, the warmth of a cat curled at her feet. Each moment is savored, each breath a lullaby. The night is endless, the peace complete, her rest undisturbed. The last flame of the candle trembles, the room now dusky and serene. The shadows are soft, the air cool, the silence deep. Clest drifts, her dreams a gentle tide, every image slow and safe. The world narrows to the comfort of her bed, the warmth of the quilt, the softness of linen. The city outside is hushed, the storm long gone, the dawn a distant promise. She sleeps, her heart light, her spirit at peace. The candle flickers once more, then gutters out, leaving the room in gentle darkness. The air is cool, the silence profound. Clest sleeps, her dreams slow and repetitive, lacework unfurling, tea steeping, rain tapping gently at the window. The cat stirs, then settles, her purr a low, soothing hum. The attic is a haven, the night endless, every breath an invitation to rest and to heal. In the deep silence, only the faintest sounds remain, the slow rhythm of breathing, the distant chime of church bells, the soft whisper of wind through the eaves. The room is cool, the linen smooth against Clest's skin, the quilt heavy and warm. Her dreams are gentle, her thoughts slow and safe. The city outside is silent, the rooftops washed clean by rain. The night is a soft cocoon, every moment a lullaby. A gentle repetition, the memory of rain, the feel of lace, the scent of lavender. Each image returns, slow and soothing, a balm for the heart. The attic is silent, the world outside hushed, the promise of morning a faint gleam on the horizon. Clest drifts, her spirit at ease, her body relaxed. The night is endless, the peace total, her rest complete. The silence is deep, the darkness gentle. The only sound is the slow, even breath of sleep. The attic is a sanctuary, every surface bathed in softness. The cat sleeps on, her tail curled around her body. Clest dreams, her heart light, her spirit safe. The city outside is silent, the rooftops shining in the first light of dawn. The night lingers, slow and sweet, every moment a blessing. The world is reduced to softness, the feel of linen, the warmth of a quilt, the weight of a cat at her feet. The air is cool, scented with beeswax and lavender. Clest's dreams are slow, repetitive, a gentle spiral of memory and hope. The city outside is silent, the dawn a faint promise. The attic is a haven, the night endless, every breath an invitation to rest. A lull, slow and deep, settles over the attic. The darkness is gentle, the silence complete. Clest sleeps, her dreams a slow river of comfort, the weaving of lace, the taste of tea, the sound of rain on slate. The cat purrs softly, the world outside quiet and still. The night is a gentle embrace, every moment a lullaby, her heart at peace. The air is cool, the room dusky. The only sounds are the slow, even breath of sleep and the faint purr of the cat. Clest dreams, her spirit unburdened, her heart light. The city outside is silent, the rooftops dark and gleaming. The attic is a sanctuary, the night endless, every breath a blessing. She drifts, safe and content, her rest undisturbed. A gentle repetition, lacework, tea, rain, lavender. Each image slow and soothing, a balm for the heart. The attic is silent, the world outside hushed, the dawn still distant. Clest sleeps, her spirit at ease, her body relaxed. The night is a soft cocoon, every moment a lullaby, her rest complete. The world is silent, the city at rest. The attic is cool and still, the darkness gentle. Clest dreams, her heart light, her spirit safe. The cat sleeps on, her breath even and slow. The night lingers, a gentle comfort, every moment an invitation to drift deeper into sleep. The silence is absolute, the darkness soft. The only sound is the slow, steady beat of a sleeping heart. The attic is a sanctuary, every surface a caress, every breath a lullaby. Clest sleeps, her dreams gentle and repetitive, lacework, tea, rain, lavender. The city outside is silent, the dawn a distant promise. A bell tolls softly in the distance, its chimes slow, a benediction for the sleeping city. The attic is filled with stillness, the air cool and fragrant. Clest drifts, her dreams gentle, her spirit at peace. The night is endless, the peace total, every breath a blessing, every moment a lull. The world narrows to softness, the feel of linen, the scent of beeswax, the warmth of a cat at her feet. The silence is deep, the darkness gentle. Clest dreams, her spirit unburdened, her heart light. The city outside is silent, the rooftops shining with the memory of rain. The night lingers, slow and sweet, every breath an invitation to rest. A final lull settles, lacework unwinding, candlelight flickering low, the hush of breath and the drift of sleep. The attic is silent, the world outside still. Clest sleeps, her dreams gentle, the night endless. The city is at peace, the storm a memory, every moment an invitation to rest and to heal. In the deepest silence, the candle has burned to nothing, its golden light a memory. The air is cool and sweet, the attic filled with stillness. Clest sleeps, her breath even, her heart at peace. The only sounds are the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep and the faint, distant echo of church bells. The world is soft, safe, and slow. The night is endless, and all is well.